is a number of things, but first and foremost, we're a DAO, we're a product DAO, and we have two main products, Meanfi and Mean Protocol. Meanfi is a Web3 application that facilitates everyday banking workflows and DeFi automation on chain. That in a way, it is a bridge that allows for people that are coming from the traditional financing world to have a smoother transition into DeFi. And we do that through a lot of different things, but user experience is a big deal for us. We try to make things super simple, very familiar. If you look at Meanfi as an application, it feels very much like a traditional bank. It doesn't have any of the complicated workflows or even nomenclature that the pro DeFi users are more accustomed to. We try to lower the barrier to entry, make it as low as possible, so that everybody feels comfortable when coming to DeFi. And then and a lot of the everyday banking workflows that we provide are powered by our Mean protocol, which is primarily composed of two different smart contracts. One is the money streaming, and the other one is essentially a crank service on chain, and that is the what powers the dollar cost average and things like that. There's a ton of different use cases, but generally speaking, that's what Mean is all about. And yeah, we're trying to make DeFi accessible and easy for everybody.
Awesome. No, I love that, and I love that pretty much aligns with Orca's vision really, really well too, in making DeFi useful for kind of the everyday consumer and just making it really easy to use, really easy to understand, and know what's going on throughout kind of every aspect of the product. I know you covered a lot there in terms of the different offerings that you have, and definitely want to jump into each one and kind of see what you guys would love to see other people build on top of them.
Yeah.
But just to start off before that, can you give an overview of the team and kind of why you decided to build a DeFi bank?
Yeah. Yeah. So the founding team is five right now. We're a team of eight, and we are hiring across the board. So pretty much anything from Rust developer to business development to pretty much anything. The good thing is that we have a DAO that because it is relatively large, we have access to a lot of talent directly there, and a lot of people benefit from that DAO relationship. If and whether you want to do it for short term or long term, you're welcome to join our DAO. We put quite a few challenges and contests and payouts and things like that rather often. So there's always something to do to benefit the overall DAO and the work that we're doing, and to move our agenda forward. The five of us are the five that founded the project. Are longtime friends. We've known each other for a long time. Me and my co-founder, me and my CTO, we go back all the way into high school. So even before we went to computer science together, we've known for a long, long time. We've known each other longer than we have not known each other. So that's it's quite a bit of time, and I already have some white hair on this head of mine. So that that sets the stage a little bit. So it allows us to be very efficient. The communication is very smooth. There's almost we fight all the time, just like any team, like any passionate group of people that are trying to move a radical agenda forward. But it's all in the in the best light of progress. So yeah, it's a very chaotic kind of core group here. Very passionate, all of us.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys probably debate very vigorously, not fight.
Yeah. It depends on who's listening. Yeah. But yeah.
No, that's awesome. It's always great to work with folks that you kind of known and built trust with for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about kind of why you guys decided to build this and the overall
Mhm.
vision, because I think it's really cool that probably on Solana is the first place that you can actually build something like a DeFi bank that has
Yep.
all the different pieces of a bank.
Yep.
And you guys are maybe the first protocol that's actually gone and done it. So kind of
Yep.
what drew you to building that?
Yeah, so the original like the genesis of Mean was actually not like we didn't start with like let's build a bank. We started with we wanted to get our we wanted to start doing payroll. That was basically what we wanted to start doing. Like we all the five of us were working on a previous venture that we had, and we were working already in crypto, nothing to do with DeFi. Everything was centralized, and we were settling international escrow accounts in crypto, but to be deployed in American real estate. So we were already familiar with the very familiar with the cryptosphere. We were dealing with a lot of the KYC nightmares and AML and all of those things. And one of the things that continued to be a little bit of a barrier was that we would, every time that we wanted to deploy our own capital, our own fiat into crypto, we had to go basically our own separate ways. Like there wasn't an easy way to receive our own salaries in crypto. So that was the original problem that we were trying to solve: is how do I actually pay my employees in crypto and skip the whole like converting 20 times before they can actually have something usable in their wallet. And we started there, and we didn't actually start it in Solana. We started to actually just try to find a solution that would work. And this was back like towards the end of 2020. And we came across a protocol called Sablier in Ethereum that somewhat was pitching itself as a like a real time payment solution or real time payroll type of thing. However, as we kind of like dug deeper into it, like it had a lot of different challenges. It was one of them being that it was built on Ethereum, and it really didn't make sense for us to essentially try to do payroll where for the employee to withdraw their salary, they had to pay $50 or $80 or however many, like the fees were ridiculous. So, like right then and there, the whole concept of we can use this for payroll kind of like crumble into pieces there. And the more that we looked at it and the more that we wanted to do something similar to that, the clearer it became that we need to build it ourselves if we want to really if we want to do something that is business friendly. I don't think that the folks that built Sablier were thinking in those terms. That were more of it was more of an experiment at first, and it happened to caught on fire. And But there's a lot of like business workflows that are not possible with most of the real time settlement layer type of protocols that are out there, including Superfluid or Sablier. One simple use case is like no single business on earth would open up individual money streams for each one of their individual employees and try to keep track of 10 different accounts that are happening for each. If you have 10 employees, 10 different accounts that you need to keep track of, that's a nightmare, right? So for us, having the idea of like a central treasury, which is normally how a business works, where you simply fund that particular payroll treasury, and out of that payroll treasury, that you have a certain amount of funds to deploy into your payroll system, is normally how every business works, right? So
Hmm.
we implemented it in that way, right? So like the way that we went about it is very methodic. And at first, when we evaluated, okay, where are we going to implement this, the only two options really that were available or that we thought this is possible to do is either Solana or Avalanche.
Hmm.
And we ended up settling in Solana for a number of reasons. First, it like from the technology standpoint, it made a lot of sense for us. We are all C-based developers, and being able to develop in Rust, which is a much needed improvement over the C stack that as it has developed over the years. was a very good selling point for us. We already could leverage a lot of the knowledge that we had from before, and the community seemed to be a lot more engaged than that one of Avalanche, at least at the time when we made the decision to start building in Solana. So yeah, those two probably were the bigger kickers, and kind of like everything else, came with the territory. The transaction throughput, of course, in here, even though Avalanche also has a technically limitless throughput. In reality, in the real world, you cannot test that in any meaningful way. But with Solana, we were like, the network was already running thousands of TPS, and you could see it and you can evaluate it, and the experience was phenomenal with the newer wallets, and you can see that the energy in the network was very, very much like much more alive than what we were seeing on Avalanche. So we decided to go in with both of our feet here.
Awesome. No, that makes a ton of sense, and kind of a similar origin story to Orca, where Utah and Grace were kind of working on things on Ethereum, and then found that it didn't really make sense for the use case that they wanted to build.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. I think that's a good segue into kind of your roadmap. And I know it's segmented in 2 or 3 different phases, but I think crypto is kind of unique because you focus on the user, and then eventually that user can actually become a builder and become the business and take on more and more responsibility within the ecosystem. Can you talk a
Yep.
little bit more about kind of the roadmap?
Yep. Yeah. So our roadmap is like grossly divided into 5 different phases, and we kind of went into in a slightly different direction than most DeFi protocols go in, and partly because of the way that partly because of our mission, and what we're trying to do here on keeping things simple, and keeping things to a way that it makes sense for the retail user and retail investor. And that is that if you think about most protocols that are born in DeFi, they have a very narrow focus. They're either doing like some really complicated, like super pro, like you need to really understand what the heck is going on in order to be able to use it. And I'm talking like derivatives or delta neutral positions, stables, or go figure how many other complicated words I can come up with. And just for the regular user, when they land on that, they're like, I don't even know, like, what are you talking about? Like, so for us, we decided that that's not the direction that we wanted to take things. We wanted to really handhold the user, the person that, I mean, if you think about it, like, we're making the promise every single day that DeFi is the future of finance, but we cannot even do some of the basic things that traditional finance enables here. So, and I think that huge gap needs to be filled by protocols and projects that care a lot about the end user experience, like Orca, like ourselves, that are really looking after what is the journey of someone that lands on the product from day zero, and how do they evolve and grow into it. So we flipped the entire roadmap, and we started from where you can make the least amount of money, coincidentally, which is the consumer, right? So, like all of our first build outs that we did, from the accounts explorer to the exchange to the transfers that we did, to the recurring buys, to the DCAs, all of those things were very, very focused on consumer experience. Someone that lands here for the first time, how do they go through the journey of becoming a user, like a regular user of Meanfi? And that's what our phase 1 is. Phase 2 is for investors, and we are kind of like in the grunt of it right now. We haven't wrapped up completely the consumer phase, which is phase 1, but we're getting pretty close to wrapping that up. All the phases have they start and end sequentially, meaning phase 1 starts before phase 2 and phase 3 and so on and so forth, and they end sequentially as well. So phase 1 ends before phase two ends and phase two ends before phase three ends, but they do run in parallel, some of those things, right? So right now we're running in parallel the tail end of phase one and the first half of phase two. And on phase two is everything about converting all of those consumers that we have, over 100,000 of them already in the application, believe it or not, converting all of those people that already got used to making transactions on Meanfi and making and feeling comfortable with the wallet interactions and things like that, convert them into retail investors, knowing that now that you have capital, that you can explore, that you can use, that you can transfer, that you can move comfortably with Meanfi. How do you put that capital to work, and how do you make it more capital efficient, right? While it's sitting in your wallet, or while it's sitting on a money stream, right? So that's basically the phase that we're working into right now. And then phase three is kind of like the bigger picture of basically businesses and DAOs and organizations and all the tooling around maintaining an organization, being able to do a lot of the workloads that are needed by DAOs. Right now, we're working with multiple DAOs in them leveraging our treasuries, for example, and our money streams to distribute funds to the guilds and to the different groups. So that is a big effort also that is kind of ongoing, but it won't see the light of day until a little bit further down the road, where anybody with, like, in a truly permissionless fashion, can access those tools without even talking to us, right? So right now, a lot of those tools are kind of behind closed curtains, and you do have to talk to us, and we'll give you like white label access to it if you want it. But little by little, we have to like test all of those experiences. We learn a lot from those partnerships and how they plan to use it, and we apply those same concepts to the broader audience when we open them up for everybody. And then the last two phases that we have are essentially institutions, and the last one is ecosystem. We already have quite ambitious plans to go cross chains, both with money streams and with our tooling. So like in like at the end of the day, for most, like if we really want to be a DeFi bank, it shouldn't matter whether we are running in Solana or running in Avalanche or running in Ethereum. Like that's the equivalent, the way that I see it. That's the equivalent of like Facebook or some other organization saying, "Oh, like we are the social network that runs on PHP." Like nobody cares for that, right?
Yep.
So it's just underlying technology that facilitates the whole thing, but the people using the technology shouldn't care. They should it should just work. That's it, right? It's like that's where we're coming from, and the whole Solana storyline. Yes, it allows us to be what we are and to do what we do, but it's not the center of the story at the end of the day.
Yep. No, all of that makes sense. I'm curious, just random question. What's kind of the coolest or most surprising use case you've seen for a money stream so far?
So far, I think that the one that gets used the most by far is the schedule transfers. It's something so simple that it
Hmm.
doesn't even like register in the cool scale. But if you think about it, if I wanted to send you on my good old, like, traditional bank account, if I wanted to send you $100 right away, I wouldn't like there's like 1,000 different options to do that using traditional finance. And if I wanted to schedule a payment that arrived to your bank account for next week, there's also a million options to do that, from ACH to schedule transfer to like Zelle, that you set it up to be sent on a specific day, to recurring payments. Like nobody that is using a regular bank account, whether it's Santander or HSBC or Chase or Bank of America or Wells Fargo, it doesn't matter what bank you use, all of them offer scheduled transfers. However, you go ahead and go through the exercise. Try to think about a single DeFi application that allows you to do a scheduled transfer in any chain. Forget about Solana. Any chain that allows you to say, I want to be able to send Michelle $100 on January 25th at 3 p.m. That's when you want to send me, and you want to schedule it now. Try to think about a single DeFi. Like, short answer. Let me help you out. It doesn't exist. Well, there's one, Meanfi. All right, you can do that with Meanfi. It's such a simple concept that it is baffling the fact that like we as developers of the DeFi infrastructure have not adopted that yet. The one that records more volume in terms of like amount of money moving is payroll for sure. So being able to pay your employees and remove the need to do biweekly payments, or remove the need to do prorated paychecks if someone starts working, say for example, on the 8th of the month instead of on the 1st of the month or the 15th. Like you really like, there's so many operating problems that kind of like go away with money streams, that you know, immediately the day that that person is going to start, you just schedule the money stream at the rate that you agreed for payment with that person. So say for example, I have a new employee, and that new employee is going to earn, you know, $200 per week. And we agreed that the first day that you're going to start working is, you know, the day after tomorrow. We can schedule money stream to start at the rate of $200 per week the day after tomorrow, and for as long as that person continues to work for the company, that money stream will be running, and it will be running from a treasury that I just need to make sure that it has enough funds to continue to stream. All right, to continue to have to basically drip money out of that. So so those are kind of like the two, like the one that gets used the most in terms of number of transactions is for sure the transfers. The ones that moves the most amount of money is the payroll. But the use cases are many from, and one of the biggest ones that we're going to be bringing alive probably towards the end of Q1 is going to be subscriptions, basically real-time subscriptions. And what that means is essentially that imagine you consuming Netflix at exactly the rate at which you are in real time watching a movie. So the way that this would work is that instead of you opening up a subscription service that you essentially have to pay Netflix a preset amount of money every month, that that gives you access to all of their catalog and their inventory. You simply open up a money stream, and when you play the movie, for as long as you are playing that movie, so 1, 2, 3, 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, during that time that you're playing the movie, Netflix is collecting money from you at the rate of which you have opened that money stream. If the movie wasn't good and you stop, the money stream stops automatically for you the minute that you stop the movie, and you move on to another movie because that one was garbage and you just want to see a better movie, and you're only really consuming, and the value exchange between you as a content consumer and Netflix as a content creator is exact and just down to the penny and down to the second of the value that is being exchanged at that time. So anytime that you are exchanging value, whether it is Netflix or Spotify or pretty much any kind of service that you consume, you can move the subscription service model into this real-time consumption model that you can think of it like a play to earn, but extended to every single facet of life. All right. And that can be powered by money streams very well. In like gameplay, for example, and play to earn is another good example that we think is going to be a big deal for us. We're already talking to some major um, game studios, and we're going to be bringing those money streams as part of their gameplay. So the use cases again are almost like infinitum. You can parking meters. Imagine you going in and parking your car, and you only pay truly for the time that your car is paid. You don't have to like think about prepaying or how many minutes am I going to take on my lunch break or anything like that. The minute that you park your car in there, the money starts collecting, the meter starts collecting money from your car. The minute that you leave, the meter stops collecting, and that's it. You just simply you can have $1 million for all you care in that account. it's only going to consume the amount of money that the meter requires for you to be parked there in that time.
I love it. So I don't have to pay for movies that halfway through I don't enjoy.
There you go.
Um, and I think there's also a bunch of use cases like in the crypto ecosystem, in the Solana ecosystem that it would be useful for. So even just thinking right now, we should probably use something like this for our internal payroll at Orca.
Yep.
I could see this being used for a subscription payment, whether it's something like Delphi Digital or for sponsoring kind of different projects in the ecosystem on a recurring basis. So no, that's really cool.
Yep. Yep. 100%.
We have quite a few requests, and we are almost at 5:30. I do want to run through a bunch of other items, but
Go ahead.
I guess quickly, maybe we touch on the token itself, and then we take some user questions. Can you give an overview of the token, kind of what the utility is, and maybe you can cover the staking side on Mean itself, and I can cover the double dip side on Orca.
Got it. Yeah. So the first utility of the token is itself not necessarily utility, because it is the governance token of the main DAO. So the way that governance is managed on MainDAO is by something called mean power, which is basically a metric that is weighted 70% from token holding or token ownership, and 30% from our merit and reputation system. Even before we launched the token, we were running very much like a DAO, a tokenless DAO, mostly using the reputation system. We have a fairly complex way in which people can move through that reputation system based on their contribution to the DAO. But now it's going to become a lot more kind of pervasive and measurable because of the token. And our on-chain metrics and governance portal is one of the goals that we want to deliver over the next few weeks. So it's one of our key goals is that by the end of Q1, because this is going to be like multiple steps that we need to take towards the governance portal. But by the end of Q1, 100% of the decisions that we're making are going to be moved basically to a full-on mean improvement proposals that go through the online DAO portal. So in addition to that, we have we have clearly liquidity provider fees, which are provided through our LPs, liquidity mining rewards that you can touch on the double dip on Orca. We have staking and locking, which this should come live probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And what that means is that essentially you can stake Mean token, and we're going to be actually opening up staking for more than just Mean directly on Meanfi. But if you stake Mean and you lock it for longer period of time, so the longer you lock it, the more benefits you get from it. So, for example, you can get protocol fee discounts up to 100%. So essentially, you can do all of the movements and all of the things that you do on Mean for absolutely free, without paying a single dime. Every single fee that you pay, even the network fees, the network protocol that we pay to Solana, will be refunded in the form of Mean. So that's a pretty cool feature right there. And probably the most notable one is that stakers of Mean and Mean token holders, to different degrees depending on how long you have your stake locked for, you receive revenue sharing. So essentially, everything that we collect in the form of fees get redistributed back into the operating treasury, the community treasury, and the Mean stakers that are basically staking their tokens to make the network a lot stronger and a lot better. So there's a lot of utility in a lot of different ways in here. There are more things to be announced. I just don't want to jump the gun too early, but that in and of itself is quite a bit.
Awesome. I'm sure the one guy that commented on Twitter saying that he is all in on Mean tokens, so you can't participate in the Orca double dip pool. So when staking, we'll be happy. It'll come up in a few weeks from now.
Good, man. A couple of weeks. Just give us a couple of weeks, and the Mean staking should be live. We want to launch that along with with the capacity to stake other tokens. So like it's not just like a portal to stake meme tokens, it's just a portal to stake in general, with different capacities and capabilities for what is offered by the different tokens, including the meme token itself. But yeah, hang
Cool.
tight, almost there.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll quickly touch on the Orca double dip, and then I'm going to invite a few of the guys who requested. And if you have a question, definitely put up your hand, and we'll definitely invite you up in a second. So on the Orca double dip portion, basically for folks that are new, double dip pools and Orca are pools that, for providing liquidity, you're rewarded with three things essentially: trading fees that go through that pool, Orca rewards, so rewards that we provide in Orca tokens, and then meme token rewards. And the purpose of this is essentially for new protocols or new projects that are launching to bootstrap liquidity in the initial months. So the summary for the Mean USDC pool is that there's a pool live in Orca. You can provide Mean and USDC liquidity, and you would provide that in 50-50, so half of Mean and half in USDC. And then you'd be kind of like a money stream, earning rewards for in both tokens continuously. So definitely check it out. It seems to have really good traction so far. There's about 1.5 million in the pool, and the APR is pretty strong. So check it out. Definitely running for a few months. Yeah.
Sweet. Yep. Yep. How much
Okay.
how much is in liquidity right now on the pool? I haven't seen actually in a couple of
About
days.
1.5 million.
All right, yeah, that's pretty good liquidity. Yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome.
Cool. So I'm inviting some folks up. If you see the invite, feel free to ask a question. Cool. The Solana Spore. You want to kick it off?
Yeah, hello.
Hey, go for it. We can hear you loud and
Okay,
clear.
so here's the question. So I've developed like previously subscription-based platform. Okay, so similar to like OnlyFans, where you have like subscriptions, people can buy stuff and everything else. Now you talked about like everyone being able to use your system for a payroll, and in the future you want to implement like a subscription system. You said that like you're watching a movie and you're billed for a certain amount, like you watch it for like 5 hours and you like are deducted a certain amount of meme tokens or USDC. Wouldn't this be bad for the consumer, because like you're only basing it off how many meme tokens? Like on Netflix, if you pay like $10 you get 30 days. Do you kind of see what I'm trying to get to? Like it's kind of different.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. So this is, I didn't mean to say, and my apologies if it was understood like that. I didn't mean to say that this was going to replace the SaaS model. I meant to say that this is a new way of consuming content.
Mm-hmm.
So if it makes sense for Netflix to offer both options. So for example, like I'll tell you myself, right? I pay for, I don't know how many subscription services like Hulu and Netflix and HBO Max and Go, and I don't even know how many things. And I guarantee you, I barely watch 10 minutes of a movie every month. So, like, for me, it makes a lot more sense to just simply say, I want to enjoy that content, but not necessarily subscribe and have a prepayment penalty every month, just so that whenever I have 10 minutes to sit down and watch a movie, I can do so. Because what happens is, like, they're basically missing a big portion of the population that doesn't want to do recurring subscriptions like that. If they have both options and they offer their customers, hey, you can prepay $15 or however many dollars Netflix costs a month, and you have unlimited access to my entire catalog, or you don't have to pay me anything, but simply open up a money stream with me, and whenever you're ready to watch a movie, just sit down and click play. I'll charge you by the second. And that is a whole new way of monetizing your content as a content creator, and for me, a whole new way of consuming content as a content consumer.
So now then the value which you deduct based like per second, is that variable? Can anyone set it? Or like how would that work with your system?
Yeah, with the system. So right now, the way that money streams work is that you have to preset what is the rate of change of the money stream at the time that you create the money stream. However, depending on how you set it up, you can have it such that the recipient of that money stream is able to change the rate with your permission or permissionless,
Mhm.
or the both sides can change the rate if they allow it. So, for example, if you have a blockbuster, in the case of I'm going to continue with the Netflix example, right?
Yeah.
So we open up a money stream between Netflix and I, and part of the permissions, the same way that when you're trying to log in with Facebook or using OAuth on any other application, it tells you, oh, this application wants to read your email and wants to know your name and wants to do a couple of things. When we open up that money stream for the first time, it would say, well, Netflix is presetting the base rate for non-blockbuster movies or non-blockbuster content at, I don't know, 0.001 pennies per second. And you say, well,
Mhm.
okay, I know that every single time that I'm running content through Netflix, for every second that I run, I'm going to pay that much.
Yeah.
And you agree to that. But every once in a while, I don't know, like some big blockbuster movie comes out and they want to charge a little bit more for that movie. And at that time, when you play the movie, Netflix will prompt you again to say, hey, you're about to watch a blockbuster and the rate for this movie is a little bit different than the pre agreed rate that you and I have. Do you want to accept it? Yes. And it's only for that movie. You accept it. And that essentially changes the rate for your money stream. And while you're watching the movie, you're paying the new rate. It might be like 0.1 penny per second, okay, or a
Mhm.
dollar per second. I don't know, whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah. Interesting. You guys have a really interesting new system. I think it's doable, but like it'll add to a lot of commercialization of like further commercialization of like products and thing. Like they kind of become more expensive for people. It's 50-50, I think, but it is a good project. The actual like payment system for people and like just general billing for like people or like payroll people and stuff. That's an interesting aspect of it, actually, I'd say.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'd love to know more later. Like maybe we could chat and we'll
Yeah,
find out.
absolutely. Reach out to us. We have just come over to our Discord, and yeah, happy to chat with anybody that has a project. Yeah, we have already a ton of partners that we work with, and we're getting better at adding more and more documentation so that people can integrate without actually having to talk to us.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Thank you for your time, sir.
My pleasure.
Take care.
Awesome. Thank you for the question. The Solana Spore, if you're around, go for it. Shoot your question. And in the meantime, I was curious, how do you guys think about transaction costs as they increase on Solana network or basically any other chain that you go to,
Yeah,
kind of handling the money streams continuing?
yeah. So at this point, I have to say, like, running a money stream, it is you know almost negligible. Like you don't actually pay a whole lot for running a money stream. But there are a couple of transactions to make a money stream happen. So, for example, you cannot create a money stream unless you actually create a treasury, and there's one transaction. And every time that you add a new money stream or you make a change to an existing money stream, all of those are transactions that need to be paid for. Um, I want to say that I wish I had a magic ball to know what is going to be the future of network transactions on Solana, because right now it's very easy to calculate. It's very cheap, 5,000 lamperts, whatever. But by the time that we get to a soul worth $4,000, $5,000, and that we change to dynamic network pricing based on congestion, I think that we're gonna have to make some adjustments in there. I don't have an answer, to be honest, but what I'm confident is that you know there's going to be a solution to it that is going to make sense for our consumers. I'll give you one example of how we're thinking about this. um, right now, pretty much any vesting contract out there is extremely capital inefficient. So if you're vesting any amount of tokens over any period of time, the amount of tokens that you have locked in the vesting contract is just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. and therefore people tend to want to visit that vesting contract often to withdraw those tokens and actually putting them to work with a money stream, because the tokens are essentially, because you are essentially, so a different way of thinking about a money stream is that it is an on-chain wallet out of which only you have access to, right? So this is like, instead of having your wallet, offline, you have your money on chain, similar to Dharma or Argent or any of those on chain wallets. And by having the money on chain, it allows you to do a lot of different things with it that you would not be able to do otherwise, if your money was sitting in your wallet. For example, you can do something that we call piping. So besides transferring a money stream from any address to any address, and you want to move it around as you move wallets, you have the capacity to pipe a portion of your money stream into any protocol that you want. So you can say something like, "Well, I'm receiving $1,000 per month into my I'm doing like air quotes here, on-chain wallet, which is basically your money stream that you're receiving, okay, from your employer, and you can take basically 20% of that money and constantly, as you receive it, deploy it to an Orca pool that you want. Like, this person that was fully invested in Mean, if they had an equal amount of USDC, they can, and they were receiving that Mean through a money stream, they could essentially pipe both sides of those tokens into an Orca pool, and continuously provide additional liquidity every so often. Like, say, once a day, I want to collect everything that has been aggregated into my money stream and deploy it into Orca, or I want to do it once a week, or I want to do it how, like, it's almost like a uh, like an I don't want to call it an auto compounder, but it's basically that. It's a scheduler that allows you to move money freely on chain, and therefore one of the things that affords you as a consumer is that you don't really need to withdraw your money, because now your money can actually be extremely capital efficient, by keeping it in a money stream. So like it's almost like the money stream is the easiest, most efficient way for you to maintain any kind of balance, is by maintaining on our money stream. The simplest way to put the example of this is, if you start off with an employer that has $1 million in an account, and they decide not to use money streams to distribute that money, after n number of distributions that they do with k number of employees, they will still have, if you sum up all the money that is left on the treasury plus all the money that has been distributed through the employees, they will still have $1 million worth if you add all of that up. However, if you take that same employer and you move that money stream into a money stream in treasury, and you distribute with that to the same number of employees, but that money stream, you get any vested or unvested amounts piped through a lending protocol. I'm not going to name anyone. I don't know, Port Finance. Okay, you park your money on Port Finance while it is being streamed. At the end of the same number of distributions, if you add up all of the money that was distributed plus the amount of money that is left in the treasury, it will be more than $1 million, simply because you made interest, you made APY as the money was moving. You make sense what I'm saying, right?
Yep. No, it makes sense. Basically, you have a yield earning vault that is controlled by you, and that vault's earnings can cover different transaction costs or any other fees that you have across the network.
Yep, pretty much.
Cool. Awesome. Sorry for making you wait this long, Sport. I think you have
Sorry,
access. Go
guys.
for it.
I just dropped my network for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to ask two questions. Like, one question is, I was trying to get my deposit with your on the Meanfi, but I was just not very comfortable because you guys like asking many different questions, like all info. Why do I have to like provide all this info to you? Just I need to deposit, and I need to just put my card details and my wallet address I think that's enough. Like, why you guys
Yep.
asking many questions? That's one question. Other question is, okay, we can deposit the money to Meanfi, but can we, like, in the future we gonna be able to withdraw the money to our bank account?
Yeah.
That's the
So,
question.
excellent question. So, let me rephrase this so that everybody, in case that it broke down. So, we have a on ramp solution as part of Meanfi that we are not like we didn't implement that from scratch. We have on ramping partners. In our case, is Transact and MoonPay are the two on ramp partners that we have. And what that means is basically that if you show up with your debit card or your credit card, we have an integration to those on ramping partners, and they have different requirements for them to collect your money from your credit card or your debit card in order to for you to buy crypto directly. We as in like Meanfi and Mean protocol, we are a fully trustless, permissionless protocol. We never hold your funds, never hold your money. We don't know who you are. But if you want to use the deposit function through Transact or MoonPay, you do have to do a little bit of a KYC with them to basically to get to that point. But understand that KYC is not with us; is just like basically the integration partner that we have with us. That should answer your first question. The second question, and by the way, just to like further address the first one, you don't have to use our deposit function if you already have a wallet that has funds, and you simply want to connect it. Like you're welcome to do so as well. You don't have to. You don't have to actually like bring your fiat through Meanfi. That is merely a convenience method for people that are starting from like absolutely zero in Solana. Okay. Um, Now, to address the second question is, can we off ramp, basically take my money that is um, in crypto and move it off to my bank account? And the short answer to that is, um, I hope that I can give you that we can deliver this this year in 2022. I cannot even give you a quarter yet because there's so many moving parts to do that one piece that like there's a lot of regulatory processes around that, and even with the partners that we have, like we have to go through a lot of legal mambo jambos in order to do direct banking integration. Now we are working on that, and we do have that in the pipeline, and that is one of our highest priorities. But right this minute, you won't be able to off ramp from crypto to fiat directly to your bank account.
Man, thanks for your answering like my questions. It was awesome. But for the like withdrawing the money to our bank account, if you gonna do that, I'm telling you, man, Solana going to be like different level. You guys gonna have the Solana too, yeah, and not only for yourself. That's a different level because everyone is scared at the moment. Like that decentralized exchanges like where they're like tricky things like, are we gonna put money there? Someone is going to steal it, and also Phantom is the like working on the wallet application for the phones, and which is also like game changing. Because think about it,
Yep.
like you're just going to use like Phantom wallet, and at their browser, like you can transfer money from your bank account to your wallet, Phantom wallet on Meanfi, and anytime if you need the money to use like to check to withdraw to your bank account from Phantom wallet to your bank account, then you don't need to use centralized exchanges anymore. Like that's awesome, man. Like that's I'm really hyped with
Yep.
this, you know.
Yep.
So
Yeah, 100%. And all the wallet providers, including Phantom and Soulflare and Slope, I think they're also to different degrees they're working on having tighter integration with central banking. And like I see 2022 being like that year where everybody's adding a little bit of like their own nail to the overall bridge that is going to make this movement between TradFi and DeFi a lot smoother. And yeah, 100%. We're adding our own piece to that as well.
Yeah, we hate
Uh,
centralized exchanges, guys. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me here.
All right.
I'm just going. Thanks, bye. Just
cool. Thank you for the question. Do we have time for a few more, Michelle?
Up to you.
Ready to-
Yeah, I'm
Yeah?
good. I have another 9 minutes here.
Cool. Let's do it. Murat, go for it.
Hi,
Hello, Murat.
I wanna work Meanfi. What should I do for it?
You want to work for the DAO?
Yeah,
Yeah. Go to Discord and reach out to any of the ambassadors we have combined in between ambassadors and mods. About 40 people that are listening to your requests, and they will be able to drive you or put you in the right guild, in the right work group. And after you're in that work group, depending on the kind of skills that you have, you have to at least make it to level 1 before we actually consider you for like serious work. But it shouldn't be hard if you are skilled at whatever you are skilled at, whether it is engineering or creative work or any of those things. It should be fairly easy to get to level 1, and once you're in level 1, we can have a longer contract for any kind of work that you do for the DAO. Discord is the answer.
Awesome. Discord is always the answer.
so sorry, guys. Like, I just got a couple of questions to my my box. Like, they asking like, how about the airdrop? You guys going to
Yeah.
provide the airdrop?
Yes,
To...
we're going to. So the airdrop for so to set a little bit of a backdrop. Last week we were going to do the airdrop at the same time as we did the distribution for the IDO. However, we had to, due to some technical complications, we had to like delay that for another week or so. We are working right now on finalizing the love touches on that. And I don't want to like promise any specific day, but I'm just gonna say very very soon. Hopefully, hopefully this week we'll be able to start distributing that airdrop. But yes, it is a massive airdrop, and there's like hundreds of thousands of people that are going to benefit from it, and it's just a lot of work that it takes to go through everything. So yeah, I'm sorry it took a little bit longer than what we expected, but it is coming. Hang tight. Everybody's going to get their piece.
Awesome. And last question, Fareed. I know you've been waiting for a little bit. If you got a question, go for it.
thanks for answer.
Farid, I think that you have the stage now. You need to unmute yourself.
Probably he dropped. I don't know.
Might have
It happened to me too.
Cool. Well, anything else, Michelle, that we didn't cover that you want to cover or share with the audience?
No, I mean we have a really busy incoming month of January. I know that like everybody right now it's kind of like looking at everything that we've been through and that we've been going, and I just want to say like everything that has happened up until now is like first step of the first like staircase of the Empire State Building. Like this is not even like the beginning of all the things that we have planned. We have a general roadmap that everybody can follow, but if you want to follow closely and you want to be in tune with everything that's happening across Mindao in general, come and join our Discord. We are very active there. We have a very active community, and we welcome everybody to be contributors and to become part of the DAO. It is it is exciting time. I think 2022 is going to be an absolute record-breaking year for all of DeFi, and we're going to be there front and center along with Orca.
Awesome. I'm very much looking forward to that. And I definitely agree. I think 2022 is going to be a killer year for all of DeFi. It's because people are making protocols like you guys are. So you can actually use it and do all the things that you do in daily life, but on chain. And yeah.
Yep. Right on. Guys, thank you very much for having me here, for having us here. And yeah, look forward to continue our collaboration.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you for joining and taking the time to share all this knowledge. And thank you to all 200 folks that joined us and listened in. If you missed some of it, we will post this on YouTube. So just keep an eye out on Twitter for the next couple of days. Otherwise, thanks a ton for joining. Happy New Year and enjoy the week.